So I just did the video on whether or not you should buy a car or lease a car, and I kind of thought that to go along with this I would do a video about whether or not you should buy a brand new car off the lot. And the short answer is absolutely not, but if you want to stick around for the explanation of this, that's what this is going to be here. And just a background for this, why I decided to do this video is because I have somebody that I know, I'm not going to say who it is or anything, but this person every 2 years goes in and buys a brand new car off the lot, drives that car for 2 years, trades it back in, and this is a purchase of the car. She pays off the entire car over 2 years, trades it in, and then gets a brand new car, the same exact one, a Toyota 4Runner. Now Toyotas do hold their value pretty good, but she basically is taking the biggest hit on depreciation, which is the first, well, basically as soon as you drive it off the lot, there's crazy depreciation. Then in the first 2 years, there's a huge depreciation hit on that vehicle. So she basically takes the hardest 2 years of depreciation and then does it over again. So it's an incredible waste of money. And her claim is that, oh, okay, a car's not reliable after 2 years. Well, I would have to disagree, because my car, I have two cars. One of them's a 2007, that's my WRX. And then I have a 1999 Honda CR-V with 196,000 miles on it that I still drive like 500 miles, well, probably like 300 or 400 miles a week. And I have no issues with that car. So I don't think that cars are only good for 2 years. That's just my opinion. But anyways, why should you never buy a brand new car? The first reason is because it is a huge liability. If you guys don't know the difference between an asset and a liability, check out the book Rich Dad Poor Dad and you'll understand after that. I'm not going to get into that, but basically a liability is something that costs you money. It doesn't make you money. So a car is a huge liability. New cars are a terrible investment, and often they're made during an emotional decision. Yes, I'm talking about that midlife crisis when you buy that red Corvette. They're usually an emotional decision, like most terrible investments that we make. And you know, a lot of dealers have a lot of gimmicks where they offer like rebates or cash incentives. So they basically artificially inflate the MSRP of that car, and they go, oh, you're getting like $7,000 off this car just for buying it this week. And you're like, wow, what a deal. But that car never sells for that MSRP. It's just a gimmick. Anyways, let's talk about average depreciation of a car. So as soon as you drive a car off the lot and put that first mile on it, 11% of the value of that car goes out the window. 11% of that car's value is gone as soon as you leave the lot. That's called off the lot depreciation. In the first year, you lose on average 25%, 1/4 the value of that car. And this is kind of how, if people don't put enough money down, and if you do a 5-year loan, this is how you can end up upside down on your payment, where you're basically what you owe on your loan is significantly more than what the car is even worth. So that's not a good situation to be in. After 3 years, 46% of the value of that car is just gone. It's depreciated. That's roughly half the value of that car. After 3 years, it's worth 50% what you bought it for. And by year 5, on average, 63% of the value of that car has depreciated. It's worth significantly less than half of what you paid for it after 5 short years. Here's what's interesting though. The average person has a 60-month or a 5-year car loan, and then the average person who has a 5-year loan trades that car in after 6 years. So you only own that car free and clear for 12 months. So basically, after the 60 months are up, you've paid it off, you're not making your payments, but 1 year later, you trade that bad boy in for like a third, a fourth of what you paid for it, and then you start the cycle all over again, and this is what we call the cycle of debt. It's not a cycle of wealth by any means. In fact, it's the exact opposite. And a lot of people are caught in this cycle of debt, of buying a brand new car, paying it off after 5 years, driving it for 1 more year if they're lucky. Some people don't even end their loan before they get a new car. Don't even have the car paid off before they trade it in. But for those of us who do, most people trade it in after 6 years and start this all over again. So not a great situation to be in. Number 2, you don't even actually own the car. So when you agree to the terms of a loan with a bank, they are allowing you basically to use the car they purchased on a good faith agreement that you pay them each month for that car. It's like that country song where it's like, It talks about driving a truck that the bank lets me borrow from week to week, or I don't know if it's month to month, but that's basically it. That's how it works. You're just borrowing that car. The bank buys this car for you, and they're like, okay, yeah, you can borrow it as long as you pay us every single month. And then if you don't, we will repossess it, and we will take the car back. We'll send a repo man, and we're going to decimate your credit score. So that's basically how that works. Should anything happen and you're not making your payments, the car will be repossessed. It might take some time, but I'm sure it will happen, unless you're really good at hiding your cars, and then you might end up on some Discovery Channel Extreme Repo Men show where they have to go driving through the woods to find your car, but maybe you're making it a little more difficult for them. But basically, until that loan is paid in full, you don't own the car. And the title of the car, basically on the title, it will have the bank listed as the lien holder. And something else I want to throw out there, because at one point I was considering selling my Subaru just because I wasn't driving it that much. And I had a hard time getting anyone to consider it because of the fact that I had a lien on the title. Because basically what you would have to do, you'd have to say to somebody, hey, give me like a bunch of cash, and then I'll go to my bank with this cash and pay off the car, and then I'll get a clean title after a couple days, and then I'll give you the title and sign it over to you. So it's a very confusing process, and many people are not willing to take that risk of handing somebody cash or writing somebody a check, because there's multiple steps to the process. You don't have a clean title to sign over because you don't have the car paid off. It's almost impossible to private sale a car that has a lien on the title. It's very difficult to do that. So if you're ever in a situation where you have a car that you think you're going to want to sell shortly, don't get a loan on that car, because it's going to be very hard, if not impossible, to sell that car. Number 3 is that your warranty will likely run out before you have the car paid off. So people like to buy new cars to avoid the headache of fixing and maintaining a car. And the factory warranty is obviously a perk to buying a brand new car. But the average car loan is a 5-year or 60-month loan, and the average car warranty is only 36 months, or the first 3 years. So there's a 2-year window after 36 months, and in some cases they only go 36,000 miles. Basically, there's a 2-year window at that point where if anything goes wrong with that car, you're responsible for maintaining it and fixing it, because you own that car and there's no warranty on it. You don't technically own it though, because you're borrowing it from the bank, but you're the one who's paying for the repairs. So you may be stuck making repairs on a vehicle worth less than 50% of what your loan is actually for. So that's not a great situation to be in with a new car. I mean, hopefully you bought something good, you maintain your cars, you get your oil changes, and you take care of it, and you don't have any major issues. But God forbid something goes wrong, you blow an engine or something catastrophic happens, and your warranty is up, that's on you. So anyways, let's look at how much it costs to basically buy a $25,000 car. So let's say you spend $25,000 on a car, which in today's numbers is actually kind of low because car prices are going up so significantly. So you get a decent interest rate, 3.5%. You put $3,000, which is a little more than 10% down, on a 5-year loan. So basically, after 5 years, due to depreciation, your equity in the car is $7,500. And that's probably a little bit high on depreciation, because we said average was 63%. So maybe that's a little high as far as depreciation goes. But we'll just use that for numbers' sake. Maybe you bought a domestic car that depreciates faster, so maybe that's the case. So after 5 years, 70% of that car's value has depreciated, and you have $7,500 in equity, which is basically what that car is worth, assuming you sell it private party. If you trade it in, as you know, you get a lot less. So $25,000 is how much you spent on the car. $1,921.20 is what you paid in interest over those 5 years. So your total cost for that car was $26,921.20. Now let's say you get $7,500 for the car because you traded in. So that total cost over those 5 years was $19,421.20. So just about $4,000 a year that you literally just threw it out the window, wadded it up, and just flushed it down the toilet. However you want to, whatever you want to compare it to, it's just dead money that you'll never see again. So that's how much you can potentially lose. And this isn't even a luxury car or like an expensive car. This is like one of the cheaper cars you can buy. So you got to imagine, if you're buying luxury cars that don't hold their value well, it's going to depreciate even more significantly. Okay, so unfortunately, my camera completely died on me before I finished that video, so I'm coming back to this at this point. But I just wanted to go over quick what the best case scenario is as far as buying a car. Nobody makes out good on any kind of car you buy. You're going to lose money no matter what, unless you buy like a classic car and you're not driving it. But for your daily driver, you're not going to make out on your car. You're going to lose money, but if you're looking to lose the least amount of money possible, here's what I would recommend. Study the market and do your research. So you want to study what cars hold their value the best and look for some of the most reliable cars as well, because you don't want to be maintaining it. So you want to look for a reliable car that holds its value well. You want to make sure that you check the vehicle history of any car before you're buying it. So maybe get that Carfax report on it, or if you're buying it from a dealer of any kind, insist that the car comes with the Carfax, because they will likely pay for it. I don't think it's very expensive, but unless they have something to hide, they would probably be willing to spend the money to get you that Carfax report on that car. So your best bet is to buy a 3 to 4 year old car, because those are the greatest years for depreciation. And you want to buy it with cash and own it free and clear from the beginning, because then you're not going to pay interest on a loan, and then should you ever decide to sell that, you have no lien on that title, so you can transfer over that title, and it's much easier to sell a car without a lien on that title. So what are the best value cars? This is according to Edmunds, and this is for the year of 2016. But a bunch of these have been the same ones for a while, so these are some pretty good cars. But the best luxury brand as far as cars that hold their value the best, that would be Acura. The best non-luxury brand is Toyota. And then the best compact car, the Subaru WRX. The best mid-size car, Toyota Camry. The best large car would be the Toyota Avalon. The best mid-size truck is the Toyota Tacoma. The best heavy-duty truck is the Ram 2500. Then the best compact SUV is the Honda CR-V. The best large SUV is the GMC Yukon. And the best minivan is the Honda Odyssey. So those would be like the best cars to look into as far as 2016 goes, as far as what cars hold their value the best. So just do your research on that and know what you're getting into before you buy the car. But anyways, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this video. If you guys have any questions about what I covered in this, feel free to drop me a comment below. If you have any suggestions for video ideas for future topics, let me know as well. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing to be notified of future uploads. And I thank you guys for watching this video.